there will be doubts, there will be critics. Many of my purchases were, sorry to say, sabotaged by competitors. All they had to do was, we have selected this, they would go around, give petitions to various parts of government. I can also give you this at a cheaper price, and why has he brought it from there? When of course it was not correct, because the kind of the specs which we had, these guys couldn't meet, and they had been given a chance. They couldn't do it. Apart from all this, forget about the new innovative products. There's a regular need to buy certain things. Communication, VHF sets, um, both with encoding and without encoding. Uh, we have a need for radars. Uh, we have a need for heat sensors. We have a need for look-through wall kind of devices, which are not made in India. I was quite surprised. There's a device I saw, and we have bought it now. You can actually see through a 3-foot thick wall. It's a very complicated technology. I don't understand half of it, but it is possible. Those regular items which we buy in terms of communication, or let's say cryptography or photography or surveillance equipment, there is a need to understand how government goes about it, and which I think who's trying to sell this in bulk should know. That is, there is something called the DGSND, the rate contract, Directorate General of Civil Supplies Department. You have to get registered with them to be able to supply. Now this itself is a process. Many people didn't know this, and they would come up with a good product and say, look, we are willing to supply this, these are the specs, we are better than others, cheaper than the others. I had to say no, because you first get yourself registered. So I'm giving this background just so that, tomorrow you shouldn't come and say, look, we have this, but nobody's buying. As far as what is required, let me just wind up in a little 2 minutes. Take the field of communication. The field of communication in India today is very advanced. You have mobile phone telephony, everybody has a mobile phone, but we do not have redundancy. We have now in some of our special units a 4-step redundancy. Starts off with mobile telephony. If that fails, landline. That fails, so on and so forth. We have our own so-called digital communication system across the country. Then you have the satellite communication. Here, I think Indian companies can score big, because any communication equipment which any special force or a specialized force buys must get a clearance from various other organizations, including the armed forces in India, because it is a matter of being able to intercept it, how to protect interception, and how to also intercept, things like that. That is one area, communication. The second is digital mapping. I am not talking of just Google type of thing. I am talking of 3D mapping of buildings. For instance, in the energy, one of the lessons we learned at 2611 was that we did not have a digital map of the Taj or the Oberoi. In fact, we didn't have any latest plans, floor plans at all. And we were actually going in blind. Now, we learned from that. We have set up a system where most of the iconic buildings, most of the big institutions like the atomic energy, government buildings, big hospitals, they, not by mandate, there is no law, but they do give us digital maps of their buildings, and if there is any modification, they send a modification. And we in our turn have used our own in-house system to computerize this and make it available online to a commando fighting, let's say in Hyderabad. OILS. Now this is, according to me, a step in the right direction, but if the technology can be improved, we have done it online with our own means. I'm sure there are better technologies available. As you know that, we have the vision of a commando carrying a wearable computer on his sleeve, and he should be able to, whichever floor he enters, he should have the map, latest map on his sleeve. These are some of the technologies. The others, this is communication, then surveillance. The third is in the field of drones and robotics. Now we all know we have got a lot of people have flying drones around, there are ground robots, there are underwater robots. We have a requirement for underwater too. But are these able to tackle local Indian conditions? I'll tell you why I'm saying this. When I was in the BSF and we were fighting Maoists in the jungles of Chhattisgarh and Orissa, the humidity and the temperatures are so high, the charging points are so few, that many times these things just collapse. They wouldn't work. What we had imported as samples from many advanced countries. And we had to tell them, see, this won't work here. We can't get to charge this. The kind of rough and tumble in the jungle, it wouldn't take. Of course, maybe they had specialized equipment for the US Armed Forces, but they wouldn't share that with us. This is another opportunity for our own industry here. You sort of, what is the word? Climatize the equipment to our kind of terrain. We have got deserts, we have got the tropical forests, high altitude, what have you. And lastly, there is a dire need for documentation. So we are a country which is very poor in writing history. Everything is oral and we don't document. I don't know why there is a reluctance to document. In some organizations, there is a need because you have to learn. For instance, you take an organization like energy, we will document everything immediately. There's a briefing and there's a debriefing. And then it's documented, stored away. Next time we don't make the same mistakes. But this, in the larger sense, in the police forces, for instance. Somebody does something, succeeds, people forget about it. And then, does again reinvents the wheel after a few years. So, good documentation. The problem in documentation, I tell you, is the time. Nobody in a police station has time to do all this scriptry work. There's a shortage of manpower. You'll be surprised, in most states, at least the states which require this more, Chhattisgarh, Orissa and all, what is the strength of a police station? In Orissa, it is 3. There is 1 sub-inspector, 1 head constable, 1 constable. What are they going to do? In fact, they should just run away. I am not sort of putting them down. They used to come and stay in our camps in the BSF. They said, what can 3 of them do? Add to that, they were disarmed. Why? Because the rifles were being snatched away by the Naxals. So, where is the time for this fellow to allot 1 guy to do the scriptry work? It has to be digital, it has to be quick, it has to be easy, it has to be in the local language. Most police forces write their records in local language. Kerala, for instance, we write everything in Malayalam. For 2 reasons. One is the courts and the witnesses are always questioned in the local language they know, so it would be Malayalam. And secondly, because the fellows who are doing the work are all from that place. They would only know a little bit of English, but mostly their local language. Once you write it in the local language, then this is the problem being faced by a federal agency, the NCRB, National Crime Record Bureau. The data is coming in various languages. We have with CCIT and all that, the crime records online and all that. The problem comes not in the data per se. Everybody knows what is an FIR. The contextual kind of translation, where the scriptry part is written. It may say in Hindi something, if you do a literal translation, it will mean something else. Because the fellow will write colloquial. The witness will give a colloquial kind of reply. We need software which can handle this. Because you must understand one thing, the scale is so huge. Even in a small state like Kerala, it's impossible to read through all the FIRs and then come to some kind of an analysis. I'm not talking of the sections, that can very easily done. Anybody can take a spreadsheet and do it. I'm talking of the context, the language part of it, the semantics part of it, contextual part of it. So that is one area which I personally feel police will be highly benefited. And lastly, you've all seen whenever there's an incident in Delhi particularly or anywhere, first thing the TV channels show is we have got a videograph. Some video camera kept somewhere has photographed some suspicious looking character moving, ATM robbery, this, that. Two things happen. Most of the time the camera is so useless. It's all a very blurred image. I don't know why we can't make better cameras. Number one. Number two, let's say I am in this building, we have, I don't know how many cameras here. 24-hour recording is hell of a lot. And some of these areas we scan airports, 24 hours. And some incident occurs. Imagine the amount of footage some fellow has to sit down and watch. Okay, I have a suspect's picture. I have 3 days of video. Now, has this man come in any of these videos? Yeah, it's impossible. It takes days and days, months. Can we not have intelligence software to which I say, look, this is the face, this is the videos. At least reduce this size to maybe a 1 hour viewing, where it can say rest of it doesn't have anything like that. This 1 hour might have your suspect. There are softwares which did facial recognition softwares I have seen in Great Britain and in the US which do this at airports. Unaffordable. Now, we could never, no state police can afford to buy it. I can tell you this, the budgets of the state police is so small that they will not be able to buy unless it is indigenously made, and you are the people who are the right people to address these issues. Thank you very much, and I'll now hand it back to Sanjay. Thank you.